As she stared up at the faces of our entire family and the doctor in the emergency room, she asked us, "What happened?" Unfortunately, I had for the most part nothing but bad news to tell my wife Kathy. I had to tell her that as we were leaving the county fair, she collapsed. She went into a diabetic seizure due to her blood sugar being a frightening 512 milligrams per deciliter. The fall was so scary, our grandkids who were both with us asked me in horror, "Is Grandma all right?" As she laid lifeless on the blistering hot concrete that summer day, I couldn't help but think to myself, no, my wife of 42 years, Kathy, is not all right. That memory to this day is engraved in my mind. As I continued to detail to my wife what had happened, her face transformed from a look of confusion to a look of sadness because the day had finally come. The day that her health completely failed her had finally arrived. Although saddened, she was not surprised this happened. You see, Kathy was going on her 8th year since she was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, gaining over 51 pounds during this time. And with each passing year, the disease's shackles took a tighter and tighter grip on her life. She was fatigued daily, and her overall health had diminished drastically. She suffered daily from the many side effects that come along with high blood sugar levels, high cholesterol, frequent urination, nerve pain, heart disease, high blood pressure, constant dehydration, to name a few. Her life was filled with daily finger pricks and expensive toxic meds. And it didn't help that her doctors kept telling her type 2 diabetes was not a reversible disease and that it could only be managed at best. All of this putting her in a constant state of depression with no hope in sight that this could all end one day. I refused to bear witness to my wife living like this, living a life with no hope or optimism. This never say die attitude of mine is what led me to discover a miraculous South Asian medical manuscript dating back to 600 BC that saved my wife's life and thousands of others just like you. By reversing her type 2 diabetes and restoring her health back to its normal healthy state. Writings that revealed what are known as the 3 hidden triggers of type 2 diabetes. Medical manuscripts that were written by the king of modern-day medicine and surgery. This discovery and its writings are now scientifically backed by some of the largest and most prestigious institutions and research labs in the world. University of Michigan, the School of Medicine at UCLA, and the University of Georgia, to name a few. These ancient medical writings that uncovered the 3 hidden triggers of type 2 diabetes gave my wife Kathy and people just like you a secret 7-second daily ritual that destroyed the 3 hidden triggers of type 2 diabetes right in their path, leading to my wife reversing her type 2 diabetes, melting 48 pounds of unwanted fat right off her body, allowing her to no longer have to deal with annoying daily finger pricks, and freeing her from bland and boring restrictive diets that she had to eat just to keep her erratic blood sugar levels in check. This simple daily ritual got to work for her the same exact day she started it, leading her to gaining back full control of her life and her health within 30 days. Shocking all our friends and family as they all went from deep concern for her to now looking at her in awe and amazement with how Kathy was able to transform her body and her overall health so fast and easy. This long-lost, all-natural solution is so simple and effective that no matter how severe your diabetes is, how long you've had it for, or what your family medical history is, if you're 35 or 95, male or female, can be implemented in the comfort of your own home in a matter of seconds each day. You see, there are particular cells in your body that produce natural, healthy insulin. Those cells enable fat in your body to be transported to all the body's tissue, as it should. But unfortunately, this process is not working for you at the moment, causing your body to take on too much glucose or sugar. So those life-saving cells need to be reignited in your body again in order to eliminate the 3 hidden triggers of type 2 diabetes from your body for good. And the key to doing this is not a new cutting-edge big pharma med, nor is it some new injection. In fact, this simple 7-second daily solution will start the diabetes reversal process the same day you start, allowing you to ditch your expensive prescription meds that corrupt Big Pharma loves feeding you, saving you thousands of dollars of yearly medical expenses. An all-natural solution that has now saved the lives of 76,367 people and counting from across the world. So you might be thinking, this all sounds too good to be true, and rightfully so. Trust me, when I first saw my wife's results right in front of my very own eyes, I couldn't believe it either. I initially thought it was a fluke or a temporary blessing from a higher power. But in the next 4 minutes, you're going to discover that everything you thought you knew about type 2 diabetes is wrong. You cannot control diabetes with medications or insulin because they don't treat the root cause of type 2 diabetes. They only treat the symptoms. Have you ever asked yourself, if injections and meds are the best solution for type 2 diabetes, then why is my health only getting worse? You'll also find out how my wife's near-death experience led us to discover this simple 7-second daily ritual that eliminated the 3 hidden triggers of type 2 diabetes from her body, leading her to shed 48 pounds of unwanted fat, while rejuvenating her body from the inside out, giving her energy levels she hasn't felt since she was in her 20s, and delivering her the health and quality of life that she'd been missing ever since she was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic 8 years ago. Finally freeing her from the shackles of type 2 diabetes. This same simple daily ritual that healed Tanya F. from Mobile, Alabama. My sister mentioned she had a diabetic friend at work that saw this website and it completely changed her health and her life. So I decided to give it a shot, and why not? Nothing else was working for me. By the end of the first month, I had dropped 12 pounds and my A1C level was at 5.4. By the third month, I was off all my meds. By the 6th month, I had lost 32 pounds. I am now able to eat freely without concern. If you suffered from type 2 diabetes for years like myself, don't wait to take action like I did. Take advantage of it now. Well, here's Rick S., age 61, from Florida, who said, I had been taking blood sugar meds for 6 years, metformin, insulin, you name it. Nothing was able to control my sugar levels. After following what I discovered on this website, my blood sugar levels are consistently stable. I am now eating freely and never feel guilty afterwards knowing my blood sugar levels will be in check. My energy levels are also back as if I was in my 30s again. I am no longer dead tired after a day at work, and I always have enough energy to be socially active with my wife and friends. You see, your type 2 diabetes is not your fault, nor is it a life sentence. You don't have to suffer any longer. Because you too can take back control of your life starting today, and you deserve to. And you can with this simple, quick, and safe habit that will attack the 3 hidden triggers of type 2 diabetes right at their core. Well, let me introduce myself. I'm Dan Pullman, and I'm an office manager at a medical and research lab here in East Lansing, Michigan. If you're wondering why I'm sharing the story of my wife Kathy and her struggle with type 2 diabetes, it's because her trials and tribulations with the disease has now led us to helping tens of thousands of other type 2 diabetics like yourself. And our goal is to keep going until we free the shackles of diabetes off every type 2 diabetic and pre-diabetic that's being affected by this unforgiving disease. The memory of leaving our local county fair that day is engraved in my mind forever. A warm summer day, bright blue skies with a perfect breeze, a full day with our beloved grandchildren. That day, though, quickly turned into a nightmare in a matter of seconds. When my wife finally came to consciousness after her frightening fall, she had a dazed and confused look in her eyes. That's when she asked me, Dan, what happened? With shame and regret, I had to explain everything that happened to her while we were leaving the county fair with our grandkids. After detailing everything to Kathy, her doctor in the emergency room jumped in and told Kathy, "You should have died today. Your blood sugar levels reached 512 milligrams."